Welcome to Spurs Ration TV, guys. Good evening to all you guys in Asia, right? Good afternoon, all guys in Europe, and of course, good morning to all you guys in America, right? Especially Canada, where Brian Daigle, my brother Brian Daigle comes from, right? Guys, thanks for being on today. Joining me for the show. This will most probably be the Eid Mubarak special, especially I'm from Malaysia, right? We're celebrating Eid at the moment, and of course, celebrating a win at the moment, right? Aren't we? Are we all happy with the win on Sunday?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I loved it being there as well.
Oh yeah,
Not just a win, but a stylish win. I mean, Sonny's goal just capped off a lovely day.
And
not bad for a right-footed player, is he?
And not bad. I actually got to meet Mr. Doherty afterwards. Doherty.
Oh yeah. You met Doherty. How do you knock into him?
I didn't knock into him. I wouldn't do that. Eugene, he's injured already.
Yeah, run him down with your scooter.
Slapping the sticker on the side of the scooter as you knock him down in cold blood.
I know. I'm biting dust. Anyway, no, he was coming back from the pub, going back to the car, and just was doing that. He came across the road, and I just said, "Hello, Mr. Doherty. Hope you're well. Can I have a quick selfie?" And he obliged. He's 7 bodyguards let me have a picture, or 6 bodyguards let me have a picture, and that was it. And I wished him well on his recovery.
Yeah.
Was he in any crutches or anything? Or was he just walking?
No crutches, but he had a leg brace on. He had a leg brace.
He had a leg brace. All right, leg brace. Just have a shout out in the guys in the chat, right? We got Wayne Bonner. Hi Wayne, haven't seen you some time. Big up to you. Thanks for the support. And Ben, Ben was with us just now earlier with
happy
me. Happy
birthday for Saturday, Ben.
Yep, and happy birthday to Ben. Are we gonna sing birthday songs again?
Oh no.
Oh no! Just tried that on Bob Spurs. I think we'll give that a miss.
I think
unless Rest joins us, right? Do we have to do that?
Well, listen, those are you that were on Bob Spur TV this morning. Need to watch the beginning back and hear how bad your singing was.
Yeah. Okay.
Bob Spur was on this morning.
It really was bad. Yeah. What time was it?
I lost 2 subscribers after that.
Yeah. Well, Kuva was on. Ben was on. Bobby was on. Eugene was on.
I apologise. I didn't know. I didn't get no notification or anything. It was on.
And big up to Graham. Big up Graham. Yeah,
hi Graham.
Hi Graham. Hi Bob. Yeah, I love to you too, my friend.
Yeah. And Graham, it's a good thing that his friend got through to the club, and the club has done the right thing, right? Big up to the Spurs community.
As for the singing, I kind of liken myself to the noise when a ship is under structural distress.
Big up, Sean. Big up.
Sean,
right.
Sean, yeah. Everybody was singing, yeah.
Hi, Sean.
I was playing all the right notes, just not necessarily in the right order.
I will apologise that you didn't get the link this morning because I didn't know anything about it, Sean.
That was an Eric Morecambe quote, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it was Eric Morecambe with Andre Previn was the special guest.
Preview. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you're playing all the wrong notes. No, I'm playing all the right notes, not necessarily in the right order. Yeah.
But that's a good one. That's a good one. Let me bring on another guest. Let's see. Oh, it's Shawnee boy. Hi, Sean.
I just got to come on. I've got to come on. If that's okay with you guys, I'll just for like 15 minutes until my lunch arrives. But
yeah, no problem.
I want to just make sure that Ian corrects himself.
You've made room for it now, have you, Sean?
No, it's not. See, it's not what I thought it was. It's the bloatiness that's going on. It's not. Anyway, I won't ruin Eugene's video like I ruined Bob's.
Britain's Got Talent, just not necessarily on this show.
I was at best. I feel like I was mellifluous.
It's Bobby.
I was doing it, but
yeah. But guys,
the basic happy birthdays were wrong as well. Just for what it's worth, it was far too slow. We were going at half speed. It's weird.
Some of us weren't.
I wouldn't know. I missed it all.
I know. I won't go back and watch it. I won't go back and watch it. Most people get nightmares.
Oh, I'm going to.
It was like watching an Everton defensive performance. It was.
The guys
I
don't
should be
say
going
it.
back and watching.
Yeah, but Everton won, right? Everton won.
I did.
Okay. Yeah, coming back to today's show. My show is more or less today we're talking about how you say it, the top 3 race, right? What Chelsea's been doing, right, and what Arsenal's been doing, what we've been doing, right? Do any of you guys think this will more or less turn into a top 3 race, right? I mean, earlier we spoke about it on Bob Spur TV, right? Ian, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't realistically think. I did a while ago. I've probably on your show thought that top 3 that Chelsea could have an implosion with all the things that are going on behind the scenes. But I think they've got enough points. I haven't got it in front of me, but I think they've got 4 or 5 more than us and 3 more than Arsenal. I think it would take a mega fall away now for them to be caught by both us and Arsenal. If Arsenal catch them, I think we won't catch Arsenal. That would be my fear, Eugene. I think we can catch Arsenal, but I don't think we can catch Arsenal and Chelsea, and Chelsea fall away to 5th. I don't see that happening. And of course, both us and Arsenal can't get 3 points in that game. We go to Liverpool. It's tough. If we get anything out of that, that will be good. The North London derby is massive. We need to win that. Burnley fighting for their lives, are really playing some good football, and we can do our hands up who thought that Burnley were mad getting rid of Sean Dyche, and see who watching at home on their own puts their hand up. But and Arsenal have got to go to Newcastle, which I don't see them getting more than a point there if they get a point there. So I don't see collectively how we're both going to get, or certainly we're both going to get into the top 3, and Chelsea fall away. I don't see it, unfortunately. If we can get 4th, it will still be a mega achievement. I think, looking at the fixtures, but there's still a twist or 2 to come, I think.
A twist or 2. There's also a twist or 2. And Alan?
Yeah, well, if I believe, I think we're 6 points behind, are we? Or is it 5 behind?
5, I think, behind Chelsea.
Now, I'm not being funny. I looked at their fixtures last night, and to be honest with you, I can't. Even if they play badly, I can't see a lot of them dropping enough points to get us even involved. Yeah. I mean, they got Watford on the final day at home. And I'm not 100% sure, but have they got 3 of their last 4 at home?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like if they was playing Arsenal every match, I'd be worried. Well, actually, I wouldn't be worried because I think we'd catch them because they throw the points against Arsenal, don't they? So, but no, I don't think Chelsea's even in reach.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm worried. I feel confident we're going to get something from Liverpool. But I'm just worried that Leeds and Everton are going to struggle to get anything off Arsenal, which makes it a little bit, going to make it a bit tighter than I hoped. So I think the Newcastle game is going to be the biggest game for us, like when they play Arsenal.
And Sean, right? Chelsea's home form, right, at the moment hasn't been brilliant. Do you think they will drop more points there?
We looked at the running the teams they've got to play, mate. And then there's no one that's really like most of the team. I think they're teams like Watford or whatever. So I don't think that there's enough time left. If there was like 10 games left in the season and Chelsea were on their current form and the dip and the gap was this tight, I think there'd be a different conversation. There's enough games and enough time left to close them down, but they're 6 points ahead or 5 points ahead with only 12 points to play for. So I just don't think there's enough time left. And I think the quality of the opposition that they're playing against, even a weak Chelsea should be able to handle it. So unfortunately, I think that they are going to be in the Champions League spot. Whether they finish 3rd or 4th or whatever doesn't, is inconsequential. But I think for us, we just got to focus on our games and then hope that Arsenal do us a favour, because I don't think Chelsea are going to drop enough points to matter.
All right. And Hoover, right? Like I was doing Bob shows earlier, right? I said most probably we'll get 7 points out of the last 4 games that we played, right? We'll lose to Liverpool, we'll beat Arsenal, we beat who's the next one? Burnley, and most probably we'll draw in Norwich, right? If that really happens, right, we'll be just missing it by 1 point. And that also will have to depend on Arsenal, like beating Leeds, losing to us, and drawing with Newcastle and Everton. Do you see that happening?
Yeah, I could see it. It easily could happen, but it's crunch time. Let's believe in the lads that they can actually do something here. I'm going for a win all 4. Win all 4.
Love that.
That's the big one. If we're going for Champions League, we've got to be confident going to places like Anfield and getting a result. Because otherwise, why be in the Champions League? We're obviously not good enough. So let's go and take it. Wreck their season. Let Man City pick them to the title, so they don't get the quadruple. That's the only reason. Because I don't like Man City. Money bags team. Can't stand it. But the quadruple's bad. You don't want other teams doing that. We'll wait for us to do that.
We've undoubtedly got the players and the style of play to hurt Liverpool. I'd be more confident with Doherty playing. I mean, whoever thought we'd say that. But with players like Son and Kulusevski and what have you, we will attack them from behind at pace and suck them on. There's no doubt. Suck them on, I said.
Wow.
Yeah. And
It's a new form of bribery.
Just for any doubt, I have never been or stood for election as a Conservative MP. But funny enough, just going back to the chat, and people know that Scott and I are not always on the same page with things. This issue with Chelsea came up a few weeks ago, and I was one who thought, you know what, they could be in trouble here. And Scott said, "No way. Their form isn't as bad as people are making out, and they're safe." And he says it again. I mean, in fairness, he's been consistent on this, and I think I agree with him. I think he's right. But if we get anything at Anfield, that puts that pressure back on Arsenal. Leeds are fighting for their lives. I've never seen a Leeds side that weren't in amongst, really getting in amongst you. And the one thing I would say about this Arsenal side is, how much bottle have they got? I know they can play a bit, but how much bottle have they got? Look at the game they do lose. Look at that game, the first game of the season against Brentford, where they just weren't up for it. Crystal Palace, when they got trounced 3-0, weren't up for it. If they're not up for it, any of these games now that they've got left, Everton, Newcastle, Leeds, and us, they'll drop points. So we've got to just stay optimistic. The worst case scenario is we lose at Anfield. They beat Leeds. We go into the last 3 games 5 points behind. That's tough. And then then we beat them. Newcastle beat them, and suddenly, as long as we've beaten Burnley, we're in the driving seat again. So there's everything to play for here, and I think that old cliche, one game at a time. It's never been more appropriate than it is now. One game, one performance. Let's do our business. That's all we can do. Take care of our business. And I'm with Coover. Let's go for 4 wins. To hell with it.
Absolutely. Did anybody watch the Arsenal West Ham game?
Yeah, I did.
When Arsenal scored, and you thought, "Oh, here we go again," and West Ham immediately came back with a goal. That half-time whistle, it could not come early enough for Arsenal. They were getting battered at that point.
They got battered the entire game, mate.
Yeah, they were absolutely hanging on for dear life. They don't look like a team that's confidently striding to top 4.
Right, but they're a team. But they're a team that can play woefully bad and still get the 3 points. Tottenham at the moment are a team that need to play well to get the 3 points.
I think
fifth place looks like it's at least sewn up now, isn't it? Like Manchester United are 6 points behind us. Like you've got to think that they're going to drop more points. So we might as well just go all out for the 4 wins, because even if we lose, we're probably not going to drop to 6th, right?
Yeah.
I'd have a
Then
lot more confidence. I'd have a lot more confidence.
Danny Kriyaku says that we are not getting top 4.
Yeah.
Right. But based
I'd be
on
more
the
confident. I'd be more confident if Arsenal were playing Everton and Leeds away. If them 2 games were away and they had Newcastle at home, I'd be a lot more confident that they're going to drop enough points. I'm just worried because of the. I don't know.
I think Newcastle's a tough place to play football at the moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very tough.
Someone said, it might have been on this broadcast this time last week, it's Newcastle's last home game of the season. And with everything that's happened, they'll be there for a party, and the players will as well. If they get anything at Newcastle, good on them. I think that will be a really tough game for them. And as I said earlier, I'm not sure about Arsenal's bottle. They've got ability, just not sure about their bottle when it really gets tough.
Well,
yeah. We're coming to that, right? Like what all of us has been hoping and been saying, take one game at a time. And if we do our job, it's to see whether Arsenal do their job, right? So at the moment now, we've had our blips, they had their blips, right? They have their ups, we have our ups, right? So everything is leveling out. The end of the season is going to be one of the most dramatic one, not because of the title race, but more because of the top 4 race. Do you think that's been played into a certain kind of a narrative for that kind of drama to happen now? Anyway, guys.
Well, I kind of like the way things are shaping up because there's nothing worse than going into the last few games of the season with nothing to play for. It's just fizzling out. So I like the excitement. The title race isn't over, top 4 isn't over, relegation spots aren't over. It's good drama. I mean, I love this sort of thing. I mean, if it was up to me, I would have had North London Derby as the last game of the season. All or nothing, literally winner takes all. That would have just been amazing. Unbelievable football.
Unfortunately, that never happened because of Sky. If you look at the fixtures at the start of the season, there's 2 fixtures for Spurs that are guaranteed going to be on TV. And the thing is, when it comes to the final day of the season, they want to see what's happening, whether it's playing for the Championship or playing for playing for Champions League or relegation. The last thing they would be interested in, it would mean them to drop the Spurs Arsenal game because they don't. If there weren't no competition going, you know what I mean? So.
I think Coover makes an important point, though. How many times is that last weekend of the season where every game kicks off at 4:00 and Sky have got their pick of the games, and you're looking at well, what is actually to play for? This year we could have the Championship could be, or the league winners could be up. So there's 2 games there. 4th place could be up. So that's Everton and Arsenal and us at Norwich. Relegation could still be there. That's Burnley's game. Yeah. Everton obviously going to the Emirates, and I'm not sure where Leeds are the last game of the season. But heck, there could be 7 big games played. You know, 7 massive games
out of 10. That's big, right? But
I hope that the title will be decided by then. Because if it is decided by then, it's because Tottenham have beaten Liverpool at Anfield. And that Man City haven't dropped any points, and so if the final day, if the title's still on the line, it likely means that Liverpool beat us. So
the only annoying thing about that, Sean, and I will apologise to the whole world, but I do a little bet at the start of the season on the winner of each division,
right?
And at the moment, I've got like a Yankee bet. At the moment, I've got Exeter at the moment top of League 2. Wigan won League 1. Nowhere on the Championship, and unfortunately, I've got bloody Liverpool to do it on the Vibobs.
Well, unfortunately, mate, I'm sorry about your bet, but I'm hoping that's not.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd rather Tottenham finish 4th than you win your bet. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, to be honest with you, I would rather finish 4th. I'd rather finish 4th. I mean, I'm just hoping Man City can lose 3 games out there for somehow.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So that we can at Brentford on the last day. Interesting. Yeah. But coming back to Spurs again, right? The way things are going, okay? Every time when it's on us to perform, right? We always don't turn up, right? And like now, the pressure is on Liverpool this coming Saturday or Sunday? Saturday.
Saturday,
Yeah.
Saturday at
Sunday night, yeah.
4 to 8.
Yeah, and it's the late game, right?
Yeah,
Coming up
4 to
this
8.
Saturday on the late game, 4:45, right? We are playing Liverpool, and Liverpool has to beat us, right, to maintain their
Yeah.
title challenge, right? Even if it's a draw for them, it wouldn't be good, right?
No.
But of course, it depends on MCT. What's the MCT playing on Saturday or Sunday? Those are the two games that the big league title is going for. But if we beat Liverpool, we're doing MCT a favor, right? Or even draw with Liverpool, that will be a favor to MCT.
Yeah.
Don't you see that? So, but us drawing against Liverpool doesn't help us in the top four race, because
No.
if Arsenal goes out and beat Leeds, right, that will bring the gap to about 4 points, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Right.
so.
Yeah. So that when the North London derby becomes long, right, they can afford even to lose that game.
Yeah.
Do you see?
The only bonus, I mean, put it this way: if it comes to them being side, just say it comes to if we beat them in the North London derby and they're 1 point in front of us. The only thing that might be in their favour to see if their bottle holds up is the day they play Newcastle. We kick off at 12 and they kick off at 3 or 4 o'clock. So, you know, there's a chance that sort of like, yeah, they're going to know the result and have to go out. And with Newcastle's pace, it might actually work in their favour. That's a hope. You know, it's the hope that kills you.
Yeah, being a Spurs fan, it's always been a hope.
Yeah.
Lads, I'm so sorry, Eugene. I've got to jump. My lunch is at the
All right.
door. Gonna
All
go,
right,
mate.
take
Nice
care.
to see you all.
Catch you later.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Cheers,
Take
Charlie.
care,
Cheers.
Sean.
Cheers,
Catch
John.
you sometime during the week, mate.
Lovely.
All right.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Take care.
Remember, wash your hands after.
Yeah, but Hoover, coming back to this situation that we've been in, right? A lot of us fans are saying we didn't do the job that we needed to do. We had games in hand: Southampton, Wolverhampton, Brighton, Brentford. All these are lost points, right? And there's some kind of is it a mental thing? Was there a block there? Or maybe, we were doing so well after the Leeds game. We beat Leeds by 4 goals, if I'm not mistaken. Right, then we went on to beat Newcastle. We were battered for the first half during Aston Villa, but we came back strong, correct?
Mhm.
Right? And all of a sudden the switch turned off. Right? And we look mediocre again. How can that climb be so high and drop all of a sudden so much? Is there some kind of a mental kind of thing happening with the Spurs players, or there's some kind of news breaking inside that we do not know?
No, I don't think there's a mental block there. If we look at our overall record this season, you've got to look at the trends rather than just the last game or the last 2 games or that sort of thing. 5 of those 11 games we've lost were under Nuno. That was in the first 10 games of the season. So if you look at the record under Conte, we're averaging very nearly 2 points a game. So I don't see anything wrong with that kind of form. You're just going to lose some games. Everybody does. It's the Premier League. It's competitive. You're going to get some so-called lesser teams like Brighton turn up. They beat the Gooners. They beat us. Nobody would have seen that coming, but
And they
that's
beat Wolves
the sort of
as
thing that
well.
does happen.
Yeah, they beat Wolves. But my fear was that the levels of performance, you get what I'm saying now? We were playing the kind of level of performance at that level, and all of a sudden our performance levels drop. And it's not to say a gradual drop. It's just like such a drastic kind of drop. It's like, are they choosing something?
If a team comes set up to frustrate you and stop you playing football, it's going to happen, isn't it? You're not going to be at your best. It's unless every single player you got on the pitch is world class and you can just play through any sort of tactic they're doing. They're going to ruin the game. I mean, teams know this. That's why they do it. So I don't see a problem. Leicester play more attacking, open football, and we punished them for it. Burnley closed up shop, Brighton closed up shop, Brentford to an extent did, and we struggle with that. Against coming up with, I think it's a brilliant game, Liverpool away. I think that's exactly the sort of thing we want to be looking at, because we know we've got to go there and perform. That sort of sets the tone for the remaining 4 games for me. It's we go there, take something. It's getting over. I don't see it the mental block. I think it's just you've got to respect some of the other teams in the division. They set out front great, and it works.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
Happy birthday, dear Resonator.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
All right. We're not going to sing it again, right, Raz? Are we?
You can if you want. It's not for me to tell you to sing happy birthday to me.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
happy
the
birthday
height
to
of
Raz,
America.
right? All you guys in the chats, right? It's Raz's birthday today. We've really done the singing in Bobby's show earlier, and Ian says, "Go back and listen to it."
I am going to.
But before you do that, before you go back and listen to it, remove your ears.
Yes. I heard dipping little bits of cotton wool in some butter and things like that, and popping it in.
Yes, and then sealing it with candle wax,
Right.
and wrap your head in a bandage
Underwater.
in space.
Well, put it this way, Rez. What was more painful, the chip challenge or the singing?
For the dignity and well-being of my fellow streamers, I'm refuse to answer that.
No comment.
Take the chip.
Oh dear.
Yeah, hi, Raz. How you
A
doing?
quick cigarette, guys. Excuse me.
Light one up for me, please.
Now, Raz, we were talking about the top 3 challenge, right? So we were saying that
Yeah.
most probably we won't be able to catch Chelsea, right? Like I told you earlier in Bob's show, right? We'll get 7 points, and Arsenal will get 5 points, and we'll still not be able to make top 4, right? And the only hope is that to make top 4, right, is for Chelsea to lose all their games.
That would be absolutely hilarious if that
Yeah.
happened. Just on a human level, not even as on a Spurs fan level. I mean, obviously it would be beyond hilarious, but I think every human being on earth would laugh in that scenario. I think.
That would be really, really, really. I don't know what to say, right? And Gilmer says window.
My window.
Raz's window. Yeah.
The top
And we get
4
a
challenge is mentioned, and Rez has opened a window. It's not that bad, mate. Really. We're here for you.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
See you later.
Goodbye, cruel world.
Rez's life.
Yeah, I've got to take my elf's life off. So
Yes, Al?
no, so I'm gonna have to take Al's life off because we're now on to
Oh,
Rez's
you're the
life.
rest of life. Yeah. yeah. But coming back, right? Top 4 challenge. We have to play our
Hey,
own
you
game.
went downstairs.
Okay.
Hi, Dean.
I'm getting bollocks again.
Hi.
And as is right and proper.
Yeah.
But coming back to
Showstopper.
showstopper.
See, Alan,
Right.
from the slanting roof, I'm guessing that Alan is now in the loft, and he still can't escape punishment.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
trying my new gadget. But Rez, I've got my iPad.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant the stair lift.
No, that's a few months away. I'll hopefully get there.
Yeah. Pick up the Guguma, pick up the Danny Kriaku in the
Big up to
chat.
everyone. Thank you for the birthday
Yeah.
messages. Big love to you all.
Mr. Birthday Boy, any wishes?
Yeah, for Arsenal to fuck off. But I wish that every day. No, to be honest, the weird thing is, thinking back on it, the game around my birthday, Spurs seem to win more often than not. There've been 1 or 2 exceptions, but generally Yeah. Yes, it is. Generally, we tend to win. So they gave me a birthday present, and it was very pleasing. Yeah, we had a good night on Saturday as well. Present company obviously were missed, but yeah, it's been a nice few days. You know, just chilling on
Were
a
you at
bank.
the match? Oh yeah, you were at the match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Leicester. Yeah.
I would have loved to have been there, Rez, but unfortunately, it would have been worse than what your challenge was because I would have just picked different colour.
The thing is, I mean, I can sympathise, but we're up to about 480 odd subscribers on Shelfside Spurs Show, and me, Gaz, LJ, and Nick have all decided that we've already liaised with Sue on this. She's going to be cooking you a garlic pizza. To eat live on screen. So yeah, that's if we get to 500. So do like and subscribe. I'm sorry to plug my channel on yours, but you know, or our channel. Sorry, my channel. Fuck it, I'm getting so diva-ish on my birthday. Yeah, you know, so yeah, we'll get to witness it, and then after that, you'll be used to garlic, and it'll be all fine.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But
listen, a garlic pizza is better than a pineapple pizza.
Can I just ask one little small question? Can you do pizza without cheese? Because she won't do anything that gives me a headache, and I can't eat cheese.
We'll get you some vegan cheese.
Okay.
That isn't cheese. How about that?
there is vegan cheese.
Yeah.
It's a yellow flannel.
Yeah, it is. It's like but I mean, to be honest, I'm thinking of getting into selling vegan cheese myself, because I've actually found that what you can do is you can go and buy those sort of yellow sponge pan scourers, right? Chop them up into little bits, put them into plastic packaging, and sell it as vegan cheese, and no one knows the difference.
But isn't that plastic?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's yet to be proved.
Yeah,
to improve. Oh dear.
Oh,
Nobody's eaten substantial amounts has ever come back and complained to Rez anyway.
no one exactly. Yeah, and those what's it called, hospital visits for stomach pumps are just coincidence.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Okay,
You
guys.
need to justify the equipment somehow, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Stomach pumps, right? Stomach pumps, right? Okay, guys, back to the football, right? The direction that we are going now, right? To tell the truth, when Conte took over, we were 9th or 10th. Now we are actually in the top 4 race, right? Do you think that is considered an achievement? That's how we prove it.
Sorry, we asking me.
Yeah, cool, right?
Is it an achievement getting top 4 from where we were?
No,
yeah, absolutely.
Not even being top 4, being in the race for top 4. Is it an achievement? Do you feel that?
Yes, of course it is. It's a marked improvement on where we were. We were utterly directionless under Nuno.
Yeah,
utterly, completely lost. I'd stop watching football. For the first time. Well, actually happened first under Mourinho, but in recent years, it's the first time in my life where I've ever deliberately not watched Spurs games.
Yeah,
because the football's been so bad. Couldn't see where we were going. Couldn't see the point. And Conte's brought it back, so I'm delighted. We've got direction. We're going places. If we make top 4, brilliant. If we don't, it's still been a marked improvement, and I can see where we're heading. That's the main thing. I've got confidence. I've got belief in the manager, and I've got belief in the team. Yeah, you look at the likes of Doherty. He keeps coming up recently. How much we're missing him at the moment. For me, that he's been the one I always look at as. We talk about Ben Davies improving and people like that, and quite rightly we talk about them. But Doherty, even while the other improvements were happening with other people, he was still getting slated. I was slating him myself. We all thought he was terrible. He went away. He got his head down. He worked hard. He came back. He improved. He started becoming one of our most important players. That for me is showing what Conte is all about. You get the hard work done. The rest will come with it. I'm really confident in where we're going with things. If we hang on to Conte, and if a certain gentleman that runs the club manages to get something right for the first time in 21 years.
Yeah, bang on the money, mate. Bang on the money.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Brett, you've been saying this for a long time, right? I mean, ever since Conte joined us, right? This season is not the season to actually judge him, right? Because most probably this season is supposed to be Conte's pre-season, right? For him to feel out the club, to feel out the players and what kind of players he needs to bring into the proof of club. And Conte has always been here to say that he's not here to fight for top 4, right? He's going for the big prize, right? That's what Conte does, right? His vision is totally different. But the thing is that at the moment now he can't reach that level. He's going for the other thing that's best, which he can do, is to achieve top 4, right? And along the way, of course, we will have our ups and downs, right? But realistically, do you really think that it's really, really important for us to get top 4?
Personally, no, I don't. I don't believe that Conte's tenure at the club or continued time at the club will be determined by whether we get top 4 or not. And the other thing I've also got to say is that a lot of people say, well, you can attract better players when you got the top 4, which is absolutely true. Of course you can. But there's a couple of things that you can counter with that. One of them is that not every top player will go to the Champions League clubs for a couple of reasons. One is that the traditional Champions League clubs don't always every year on year in end up there, but they still manage to attract players. Occasionally, look at Man United, for instance. The other one is that there's just not enough space for all these top players. How do you define what is a top player and isn't a top player? Because it's not a metric, it's an objective analysis. It's a subjective analysis, sorry. With regard to Conte, the determining factor to him staying will be and Conte himself doesn't always take, like the top player. He will take a player that fits his system best, and that's not always necessarily a Champions League bracket player. So for me, what I think the determining factor will be with Conte's tenure will be whether or not he is backed in the summer to a level that he is satisfied with. Now, you can have the hierarchy come out and say, we spent this, we did that, we did the other. Doesn't matter. You don't get to decide what is adequate. The only person that gets to decide what is adequate for Conte's purposes is Conte. If you back him, I think next season we will be in for a proper ride. It's going to be fun next season. Mm-hmm. If he's not, he's going to walk. And Kane will then follow him out the door.
Mm-hmm. Then it'll be more fun.
then it will be fun in the sense of, in the end of like a Frankenstein movie where they all chase them through the streets with burning torches and pitchforks. It will be that kind of fun.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. But okay, let me put Alan to this question, right? Alan, do you think ever since the PSG rumors that came out, that's actually affected our form?
No, I don't think it's a thing. To be honest with you, Conte put it all to bed during the week, didn't he? He put it to bed saying that it was just rumours. I think at the end of the day, why would PSG want to go for Conte when, if you look at Conte's history in Europe, it's not very good? Why do they keep sacking their managers? It's because they want to win the Champions League. They know they're going to, 9 out of 10 times they're going to win, like the league or League One, because, to be honest with you, a lot of the other teams cannot compete with them. It's a bit like before Rangers got back into the Premier League in Scotland. I know Celtic couldn't attract the players, but there's only one team that's going to win like the league, before the ball was kicked. And it's, in some sense, it's like that with PSG. There's teams there and about that might have it, but they 9 out of 10 times they're going to win the league, but they can't win the Champions League. So why do you go for a manager? I mean, even if we keep it, I'm not expecting if we get into the Champions League to also go boom, boom, boom and win it. That might not be the trophy we will win, but I'm hoping that we can carry on competing and chasing for the top 4 and keeping in the top 4 and hopefully challenging for the league. A bit like when we followed Leicester and then we followed Chelsea. Or hopefully this time be in front of it and let people chase us. That's the hope. But the biggest hurdle we got, as everyone keeps saying, is that bald bastard up the top. He's not going to. I'm not being funny. When you look at our squad, there's only three, possibly 4 players that might get into other teams' squads, not in their team, in their first 11, but into their squads. So realistically, we only need 17 new players to be able to compete properly with Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. Other than that, and Levy being Levy, we're more likely to get 2. So I'm not too confident. I'm hoping that he does get his 5. I hope he gets 4 or 5 in by the 1st of July. If he doesn't get them in by the 1st of July, I've got a funny feeling Conte will be saying, "Okay, you haven't tried. Bye bye." That's my own view.
Okay. That's just before preseason starts, right? That's when when Spurs goes on their tours and all that around the world, right? But the thing is that at the moment now, we all can see that the caliber that Conte has, right? He has turned this squad of players, right? We do have a couple of world-class players in our squad, a couple of decent players in our squad, and more or less the rest of them are average. And in the end of the day, if he can get the rest of those average players to perform to the standard they're doing now, right? Imagine what he can do if he really gets the players that he wants.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And do you think Conte, right, if he does get the players that he wants, right, for next season, right, do you think we'll be challenging for the league?
No, not next season, because I honestly think it's going to take a lot longer than one season, one window. I honestly think. I think next season we might, if he gets 5 or 6 players in that he definitely needs at the moment, just to make sure we've got certain positions covered, to make us stronger. I think it might be a case of we won't be having this conversation next year saying, "Oh, are we going to make the Champions League? We're going to be in it." If it can't, the only way we can possibly, I reckon, we can win it next year would be, and no disrespect to Leicester, but we need to find the teams that are all going to be in that transition period. Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Man City, all in a transitional period. And to be honest with you, if Levy had picked up on it beforehand, perhaps we might have actually not had to worrying about ever winning the league, because we might have won it then.
That's true. Like what Reload says, right? Don't trust Levy to back anyone. Didn't back Poch after challenging for the league title. Hope he does, but until I see it, I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
the sounds of it.
Yeah, we're all skeptical. We're all skeptical. It is. If it was any other manager, if it was anyone else, there was talk of getting Rodgers when last summer, before Nuno came in. Rodgers, Fonseca, all of these cans, Gattuso. All of if it had been any of those lot, I would be thinking, fuck it, we're getting nothing. It's only because it's Conte that there's that
Glimmer of hope.
Well, this is it. It's purely logical in terms of, is he so monumentally stupid as to not back Conte? That is the key question. It doesn't matter what's happened before. Doesn't matter what's going to happen next. That is the key question. And for that, we have no answer, because you can't turn around and say, well, he hasn't backed his other managers for 22 years. Yeah, but they weren't Conte. He hasn't backed other managers to think, yeah, but that wasn't Conte. And I'm not saying that because it's Conte, he will. I'm saying that because it's Conte, he should. But if he doesn't, it's him that's the problem. It's his stupidity. And that's the key. That's all we need to know.
Apologies. I apologize for my absence. And I've picked up enough about what's been going on. I think we all know one of the things that Levy isn't is stupid. I mean, whether he's got the good judgment and the right judgment is another matter.
Yeah.
There's no definition of the word stupid that Levy qualifies as stupid.
Yeah.
I also am influenced, and when I first became a YouTuber, it was around the time that Nuno was put out, and I know there was people that were at that Manchester United game that felt the atmosphere turn toxic. And I think that my issue here now is, if he doesn't back Conte and Conte walks, where does he go?
Yeah.
Yes, he might get Potter if he's lucky, because Potter's probably taken Brighton as fined. Sorry, I've lost it with the comments of Bobby Kay. But with Potter, we know that he didn't seem interested like last summer, but he's probably now taken this Brighton side like Chris Hughton had as far as he can. But whether he wants to come, if he comes, it's a 5-year project. And once again, we're looking at long term where people do want success and want trophies now. The alternative then appears to be, I've heard of Mancini, but Mancini, yes, he did brilliant with Italy, but he's failed at Manchester City, failed at West Ham, and has now got Italy knocked out of the World Cup. So Mancini for me, no. And Pochettino, love him to bits, but it just feels like a step backwards in comparison with Conte. And I can't remember who it was on the broadcast last week said rightly that on man for man, Conte is the best manager that's ever come into this club at the point he's come into this club. You look at Bill Nicholson, came through the ranks, no managerial experience. Keith Birkinshaw, the second most successful manager in our lifetime, assistant to the failed Terry Neal, was a coach and came on and became a success. Conte, even more successful than Mourinho, who was a busted flush by the time he came to Tottenham and by the time he went to Manchester United. I don't think Levy's stupid. I keep using this word, but infrastructure's there. The costs are relatively fixed. Everything to me makes sense with what we're doing with getting regular Champions League football and filling that stadium with people and trophies. And Conte is the best man to do it. Probably the best man in the world. I can't think of anybody I'd rather was there. No. So I do think that Levy, this is a big summer for Levy to show there's a lot of players can go out the door. There's probably £100 million plus of transfers can go out the door. And if you can find another 50, 60, 70 million, there's the thick end of 200 million to go and spend on the kind of players that Conte wants. And there's a few decent frees around as well, particularly if we've got Champions League football. And of course, we've got a proper director of football who appears to be controlling transfers and has the support of the head coach. Everything's in place there. But Daniel, this is your chance, and I suspect it's your last chance, because if you blow it, there's a lot of good.
He has painted himself. He has completely painted himself into a corner. There is nowhere else for him to go right now, and that's excellent. That's very good. Because, again, only someone who either truly gives not a single shit about it, or someone who is just does not have enough, intelligence is the wrong word, does not have enough wisdom to know the situation that he is in, through his own actions in a lot of ways, and doesn't see the really only default way he can go, and refuses to take it. He will make his own bed, and he will then be forced to lie in it.
Hoover,
it's crunch time. It is crunch time.
Hoover, Scott M's statement here. Any comment on it?
When it comes to football, few people dumber than him.
No, that's not quite accurate.
It's a bit harsh, but you could say he's been too stubborn. He's not allowed to. He's not released his tight grip on the reins, and perhaps he should have had some help in there. Like, I mean, I've always advocated the Ajax setup on every stream I go on. It's I'd like to see this committee of ex-players that know how the club needs to be run, knows all the traditions, knows who to appoint, knows who the next managers are going to be.
Yeah,
They've got a list of people to always come in. They always know who they've got in mind. With Levy, you don't have that. You have these sort of sudden search around at the end. Oh my God, what can we do? And that's what we're constantly changing direction. That's what I'm so hopeful about with Conte and Paratici here at the moment. We are seeing visibly being able to see that this recruitment strategy is changing. The personnel is changing. They're shaking it up. They told us it needs shaking up, and it seems to be happening. I'm hoping this spreads throughout the club. So we're getting these changes in the youth development. We're getting the changes in the coaching system and how we deal with injuries, how we deal with players, how we rest players, how we address our attitude to each of these cup competitions that in the past I think we've horrifically neglected, as though somehow this top four quest is always more important than winning domestic cups. It isn't. Silverware will lead to success. Silverware constantly coming in. That's the winning mentality of a team that's going to get top four as a natural progression from this.
So right. So right.
And this is what needs to change. Conte and Paratici are the two that seem the most likely to enable that change in recent years for me.
It's about strategy. It's about strategy.
Absolutely.
The club seem to have a strategy for marketing, a strategy for development, for what's it called, infrastructure, a strategy for, and ENIC will have strategy for property speculation and building of facilities and the thing. How about a strategy for football?
Yeah. Can I just add something to what Kuva said, Rez? Because I mean, I totally agree with you on that. But when you look and we talk about the players and tendency, I guess, to slag off a lot of players, if nothing encapsulated what's been wrong and where the club needs to go, it was bringing on Decky for Moura just after half time yesterday. When Moura, I thought he was shocking first half. I mean, I really thought. I mean, I put on a Spurs forum, Facebook forum that. Moura's been really poor, and someone said, I don't think so. And I'm like, but when Decky came on, he changed the game, he changed the dynamic. And that's the kind of player that we need with similar quality off the bench. That's where I think we've been, it's coming really, really through to all of us. It's just, you need not only need that quality, but you need 16, 17, 18 players of that kind of quality where you can genuinely rotate rather than bringing in some of the players that we did. And I kind of remember that place more is that Moura again, and the second string get turned over by a Slovenian, fifth team in the Slovenian league that wasn't in existence 20 years ago. We're Tottenham Hotspur. That can't happen. And that's the culture change that I hope that Kuva and Rez are talking about, that we all agree needs to happen.
Yeah, it's about direction.
Yeah, I agree, Ben, by the way.
When we had Poch, we actually had direction, but it was almost an accidental, what I call a concatenation of circumstances putting us in a particular direction. And then after that, it was like we didn't think at the time, we seem to be going in this direction. What can we do to ensure that we continue in this direction? That we know what we're going to do a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line, which is what every proper corporation does. Now, if Mr. Levy is desperate to corporatize Spurs to the degree that he seems to, then he has to apply that to the football side of things as well. But we didn't seem to. It's like, now that Pochettino's gone, I know, let's get Mourinho. Oh shit, I don't like him. He doesn't work. The fans don't like him. Let's get rid of him. I know, let's have Ryan Mason for a little while and see how that goes. Okay, he's still young, so we're not going to do that. Who do we get in? I'll get this guy. No, that guy. No, that guy. Oh, maybe that guy. Oh, that guy. Oh, this guy that we said we didn't want. Okay, we'll have him. it's chaotic. That's
But-
not good business.
Yeah, you're so right, Reza. That was the case under Sugar and under Scholar before him, and now under under Levy. There's this strategizing of just saying, where do I want to take this club, and how am I going to bet there? People, maybe there's a few people won't know what I'm talking about, maybe, but a program called Quizball, a football quiz show called Quizball. And it was footballers that came on, different clubs. Arsenal would play Spurs or whatever. And you could either go route 1 or route 4. You know, route 4 was you got 4 easy questions to get a goal.
I remember
route 1
that.
was a difficult question.
But
you scored the instant goal.
Yeah.
Levy's always been, for me, and I know my views on Levy, but he's got a lot of faults, massive faults, and one of them, he's always looked for the quick fix. He's never had that long-term plan of where do I need to get. He's got it with the stadium and the training ground and the youth academy and what have you, and that's all wonderful. But he's never had it with how he gets the first team into a position like Liverpool have, for example. You know, when people talking about how there was one of the, maybe in the Athletic or whatever, about when we gubbed, what was it, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when we gubbed Liverpool 4-1 at Wembley, and Harry Kane tore Lovren's apart. So what did they do? They got a new manager. They went out and they got a world-class centre-half in Van Dijk. They went out and got a world-class goalkeeper in Alisson and a couple more players because they knew that's what they had to do. They went out and did it and didn't look back. Whereas have we progressed much since then, if at all? Not really. And that's where we need a proper strategy. And I'm so hopeful, because I don't know where we go if we're having this conversation in July or August and Conte's gone and whatever. We have to have Conte. We have to back Parrott. We have to back them. We get rid of the players we don't want to take. We could draw up a list. And even in an average market, there's significantly more than £100 million worth of players. You know, even when you take on Ndombele, Lo Celso, for example, you know, we might even get 60, 70 million. You look at Winks, maybe 20. You see where I'm going with that. I think Reguilon can go. I think Royale can go. Probably Sanchez, Moura. Bergwijn, I think, is going to need to move on. There's a lot of money can come in that we can upgrade.
But it's not, I mean, do you know what? It's not even about necessarily realizing liquid in terms of we've got to sell thing. I mean, we don't need to sell in order to buy. Okay, he's got the wrong idea. It's almost like tax and spend with him, right? That is the incorrect way of running the football club, right? This is where the pinch point is about whether or not he's going to, because it requires a fundamental shift in how he operates. And this is where the key question actually really drills down to, because he has been on record twice saying, I do not believe that spending correlates with success. This demonstrates the fundamental misunderstanding of how football is run, because it's not a case of, it's not a case of if you spend, you will succeed, but the antithesis, if you don't spend, you won't succeed, is true.
Yeah.
If you spend, you might not succeed. Look at Everton. Everton are fucked at the moment, but they've been spending. Right?
Yeah, 500 million they've spent to maybe get relegated.
So it shows that yes, spending doesn't. He's right. Spending doesn't correlate with success, but not spending does correlate with no success. And so he's taken one part of this logical argument and just flipped it around and thinks that that's the truism, and it isn't. He has to get to the point where he understands that the football side of a football club is a black hole into which money disappears, right? Once it's in that hole, don't expect it back. That is the key. That is the key thing he now needs to understand.
It's
If he doesn't understand and refuses to understand, refuses to take that on board, Conte will eventually say, you know what, fuck this for a game of soldiers. I'm off to a club that knows what it's doing.
It's totally correct, Rez. The big difference between the way we've been running things and the way I see some of the really big clubs running it, which we're failing to be, though we should be, is the recruitment. We should be selling off the surplus. We shouldn't be selling off the parts of the current jigsaw before we get the new pieces in. Yeah. This January transfer window summed it up. 4 players out, only 2 back in. We haven't even got the numbers, let alone the right quality. It's successful transfer window. No, it wasn't. It's some good players in, but we were weaker, and we're now seeing it. It has bit us in the arse.
Absolutely.
It's always been a story with it, completely, hasn't
it? Yep. Just a big up to Chris, right? From Leicester Till I Die.
Nice,
right.
Mate.
Hope you're doing well, Chris. Hope you're doing well. Right. But guys, coming down to all this, right? And of course, Alan always does what he wants to do, right? He's changed rooms again.
Just so you're aware, this is Alan's broadcast room number 2. I've actually been to Alan's house, and it's a house as in it's somewhere where people live, but a castle is more things. So obviously Sue is now in the subsidiary basement kitchen, and she's going to send up his toast in the old, the food lift, and then scurry up the stairs to deliver it. And then Alan might go to broadcast room number 3 just to see how progress is going on the new installation of the electronic equipment.
Unfortunately, I didn't charge the iPad up enough. I didn't realise I went to lead upstairs.
Just for our Leicester friend, I presume you're still on. There's still a small matter of 2016 when you won a championship and we didn't. So
revenge.
Yeah, just remember that.
You can just be all the time about that, so don't worry.
Remember the Battle of Stamford Bridge.
Yeah. It was 6 years ago today, Rez. I was. Are you on my? I don't know if some of you are on my Facebook. But I actually put up. I was in a bar in New York this time 6 years ago. Watching it. There's a Spurs bar, Flannery's, I think it's called, in Lower Manhattan, and. Well, that night.
Yes. Friday night. Yeah.
That's when
Leicester won at Old Trafford on the Saturday. That was where it half got screwed up for us. I'm sure I watched over my breakfast, watched Manchester United, Leicester beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. And I think, at that point, we had to win every game. And anyway, I'm just going to make myself cry if I talk about this anymore.
Yeah. But guys, coming down to what you guys been saying, right? Our whole football culture, our whole football club structure, from the youth to the top, from the bottom, up, down, left, right, center, is wrong, right? And that is only one person has to be responsible for it, right? But the thing is that, like all the clubs that we see, apart from maybe M City, right? A lot of the clubs, like even Liverpool, they have a very good youth system where they bring out the youth that actually can assimilate into the first team.
Not Man City, really. I mean, they've got Foden recently, but they're not really known for producing.
Yeah, apart from Man City. Apart from Man City.
They do enough.
Yeah,
like for us,
they don't need to. That's the thing. They don't need to.
They don't need to. They just
buy. Oh, we've got a hole at left back. Shall we bring one of the youth in? No, let's go and spunk £70 million on the talent.
I know. But what I'm saying now is, right, at this moment, from our youth system, right, we've brought up only one player, which is world class, is Harry Kane. Okay.
Yeah.
The other one potential is maybe Skip, right?
Yep.
In this in the center of midfield, and of course another one is Japhet Tanganga, but he's injured now, right? So in the past 10 years, we've only got 3 more or less visible youth players coming through.
How many of the others produced? How many of the others produced, Eugene? That's the other thing you got to bear in mind. We sort of say we've only got 2 or 3, but in actual fact, you don't produce that many world-class players in the youth system. You produce players, of course you do, but so many of them. I mean, for every, let's say, Phil Foden, I will bet that Man City have sent, a dozen down to the lower leagues who didn't make it, like we have. There have been one or two that we've let slip through our fingers. The one that comes to mind is Dylan Markanday. That one, I thought to myself, you fucked up when that happened. Not him, us. But
and there's another guy in the Dutch league now, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Or the German league.
Yeah. But that's the thing. They're not world beaters. They're not elite class, Kane class players. I think Skip could be. I genuinely do, but I don't think Tanganga can be. Right? We produce KWP, who's ripping it up at Southampton, but he's not world class. Right? Expecting no club will produce an entire squad that is world beaters anymore. No. Even Chelsea, we look at Chelsea, they're the ones that actually do produce a lot of youth, but they go and pinch it from everywhere else when they're really young. They're not brought all the way up through their academies and so forth. What they did is because of the whole spending thing with Abramovich, they went out and bought all this youth and then used that to fund their club by doing loan fees, right? So
another big problem we got, which we've had over all the years, realistically, is how many managers we had under Levy.
Yeah.
So, you've got no structure there at all.
Yeah.
Because when the manager changes at the top, there's a good chance the managers down, and will all change. And they don't keep any pattern. No, they don't bring that same pattern through all the time. Klopp's in his eighth season now, 7th or 8th season.
He's certainly one of the longest serving. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And he's built his squad. Blah 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 blah. But guaranteed, when they go and look for their next manager, they will look for someone who can play that kind of style of football.
Of course they will.
And what have we done? What have we been doing? 1 minute it's defensive, 1 minute it's attacking, 1 minute we ain't got a clue. It's just there's no structure there in place. I can't believe how much I've changed since when I first started coming on these streams. I defended him quite a bit, didn't I? I did defend him. Yeah, I defended him quite a bit, but.
Hi,
guys. Good morning. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to you, gentlemen. Always a pleasure. We just stopped in for a quick visit for one thing only, and that is happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rez. Happy birthday to you. It's Christmas. Brian, roll out.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I figured, Rez, I sent you a message every stream, every chat.
I know.
We thought this is the only way to make it official. Is first hand contact. We called Al last week when it was his birthday. Had to have first hand contact.
They phoned me, and I'll tell you something.
So we can't leave you out, buddy.
They phoned me, and it sent a shiver down my back. I promise you. Jai, Christian, and Bobby, they're saying to me, happy birthday last Wednesday. And I'll tell you something, I sat there and I felt a chill go down my spine. It was superb.
It was that bad.
The singing
no, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. My new adopted sons, because I'm leaving Bobby over in Canada, my new adopted sons, they're going to come and look after me. Ain't you, Chris?
This is great because my taxes I've got to drop off today. So now that I know that you're going to claim them as a deduction, I won't have to.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about you guys, and I actually think that rather than have Bobby, K, Krish, I've forgotten your other son's name. I would do apologize. I think what you should call yourselves is Kang for your middle son, the Kanglet for Krish, and you can be the Kang father.
Ooh.
I think that works.
Okay.
Because I coined the Kanglet, and I thought, what can we do more for that? I thought the Kanglet, the Kang, and the Kang Father. That works best.
Because I actually went for the Kang Gang. I thought
Well,
I actually thought
I
Kang
think
Gang.
we're actually going to be re-nicknamed. Unfortunately, Kang's going to be completely removed. We're going to be going with the Ovaltine going forward because last night on Will's stream there, they were talking about melatonin, and I didn't know what to say. I've heard of it, and I know it's something to help you sleep. But I wasn't sure if it was something like it comes in powder form that you mix it tablet or what. So I started asking about it, and I said, "Is it like Ovaltine?" Well,
Ovaltine.
Cody fell out of his chair and is having a good laugh at me about that at my expense now. So I'm now known as Ovaltine Man. So if I'm Ovaltine Man, then that makes them the Ovaltine Gang. You guys call it over there. Is it Milo or something like that?
Milo. Yeah.
You guys
Milo.
know.
Yeah. We get that in the UK as well. Yeah. Occasionally.
I know that's the big one over there because I know that's the stuff.
If you get onto Bob Spurs, you could be the hole in the wall gang.
Look at this, all kinds of promotional ideas. You guys are flying Monday morning here.
Absolutely. It's because it's a bank holiday. We've got nothing better to do.
Well, we saw Al's tea and toast, so it was a nice way to start the day this morning. And then it's just been straight after Al, went into Bob, and then Eugene started up. So it's been a nice start to the day. Everybody's smiling. It's a nice way to start the Monday finally after, 2 weekends of misery and horrible Mondays. So it's nice that they were able to give you a proper birthday here and score that nice wonder goal. Krish, come here. You got a special request. Come here, buddy. So it's just nice to get the Monday off to a good start finally without having to be depressed. Your buddy, Uncle Bob Spur himself, has just sent a request in, and I don't know if I can look at the comments and show you what he said, but he has. Oh, there it is.
Like you are. Do 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 do.
And
he's off.
That's all you get.
Bobby, make sure the check is in the mail.
So Eugene, man, when are you going to switch your hours so that we can get you on? We've had pretty much everybody in. We've got to get you and Ian on now. And Cuba, Rez is left. You were in. You're in the background. Oh no, you're not in the background yesterday, were you? With Stella, Nikki, you're not in the background. That was the other video when you were with Ben and them.
Yes.
I was going to say the bit I like best from Christian was talking to Bob Spur, saying, the thing I like best about your show is you've got a really shiny head.
Yeah. What he kept laughing at. He kept giggling. So his brother's like, "Why are you laughing?" He's like, "Well, look how shiny his head is." I'm like, "Oh, great." So for some reason, when I tried to get in Bob for a show yesterday or Saturday night, I just couldn't get in for some reason.
Yeah.
Link disabled. You have been blocked.
Yeah. You've been blocked. I'll give you shiny head.
Yeah, exactly. No, don't worry. When I see you, you get two shiny eyes.
Bobby K, we will have to arrange a time, right? You know, our time difference is like 12 hours, 13 hours away. We'll do one. We'll do one very soon. Right?
Well, you know what? Don't worry. Even if we can't do, because we've only got 5 games left now, or no, 4 games. 4 games. Yeah. 4 now, right? So we got the post game and pre-game. I know somebody sitting in the middle down here is already taking full control of the North London Derby's pre-game show. I'm not going to say who, but his name starts with Pal and ends with Life. And so we got the Liverpool game this weekend, gentlemen. If one of you want to tag on for the post-game show, Kuba or Rez, you could take, or Ian even. Ian, where are you?
I'm in Spain at the moment.
You're in Spain at the moment. Oh, you're one of those. So depending on what stream, what day we're talking to you, tell us what country you're in. Okay.
Yeah, well, I have a holiday home here, so I'm pretty well retired. So I flip between the two when I can. So
okay, I'm sorry. Just let me get
tomorrow the Bahamas. You know.
So, well, yeah, maybe that would be nice.
Maybe, I just said the Spurs Asian guys. Jamie already in there griping. What about me? Are you, Eugene and Ian, not a power team? Would it not be a collaboration? Right? That's what that would be you too, Jamie. Don't worry. I know we can't leave out the people celebrating us so much and supporting us so much. But no, this is awesome. Sorry, Ian, you were saying you go there.
Okay. Question from Bobby. Right.
But
How
Bobby
often
Bobby
should you
K's
change
been
the
listening to
bracelet?
Jeremy Vine today.
Please don't copy Bobby K and say annually. Okay.
Well, you know what, Bob Spur? I've got a news flash for you, and I'm going to say it on live stream, which will probably embarrass me, and I'll get it from my wife later on. But I've lived in this house now, it'll be 12 years this year, and never have I changed the bed sheets once. Not once.
His wife does it.
He has, but you haven't.
The kids change them. I'm going to work.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling, Bobby. I know the
Yeah,
feeling.
I'll pay for that one later, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Some people are paying for it.
But
No, but we'll
Bobby,
definitely work something out. I'd love to have you, Eugene, Ian, and Jamie at the same time, kind of thing. And then Rez, Kuva, whenever you guys are up for it. I know Kuva's a free agent, so I know I can poach Kuva when I want. So we'll talk. We'll talk about this weekend's game, and then we got this one, and then North London Derby's taken. Yeah, unfortunately, people staked claim to that one months in advance. You're gonna have to fight on for that one, guys. Out between Al and Brian Daigle, yeah, I'll have to fight. And then we got Burnley and then Norwich after that, right?
Yeah.
What games out of those do we have at home?
Burnley.
Burnley.
Arsenal and
That's
Burnley.
early kickoff. 12 kickoff.
There's
Arsenal.
only two home games left. There's only two home
And
games
which
left.
watch
Burnley,
alongs
Arsenal,
are you doing, Wes? Because I know you got
I'm-
We Are Tottenham TV, right?
I'm doing Liverpool and Norwich.
are you doing Liverpool
Are
and
you
Norwich?
going to the Burnley game?
I am, but I'm likely to be meeting up with my mate Jens. I don't know if you met Jens.
Oh, yeah,
online.
that's good.
I don't
So-
think so. No.
Yeah.
But is he another YouTuber? Or?
He used to. He does the comments from time to time. I don't know how much he's doing at the moment, but yeah, he's part of the
We
community.
could do if you're going to the game, we could maybe do like what kind of Nick did, a little pre-show outside the stadium before you go in.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Bobby, just
What's
let you
wrong?
know, the kickoff for the time for the Burnley game will be 12 o'clock, so 7 o'clock in the morning for you. Yeah. So Rez is going to be in a bit before kickoff time, so you are looking at you'd be looking at a 6 o'clock kickoff.
What day is that though?
Sunday.
Sunday.
It's a Sunday. So that's okay because
Sunday
we're
the
gonna
5th. Sunday 15th of May, Bobby.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so that's going to be outside too early. So maybe we'll do it Saturday night or something like that. We'll figure it out. No big deal. No big deal. We're not going to sit here on Eugene's channel talking about when you guys are going to come on my kids' channel. So Jamie's in the back probably running outside the horrible movie right now saying, "Oh, you came on here talking football."
I plugged our channel a little bit and was really apologetic. You know, Bobby Can comes on. It's like, fuck this stream. Come and look at our stream. Right? I've got a great stream with my kids. Right, it's on all the time. Okay.
Well, you know what? It's only fair
on it.
Because it's only fair. Because last time I was on, they started discussing one of your favorite streams and stuff like that, and Ben was on, and Ben said show sides first. So Jamie was like, oh, "Do you know where you are right now?"
It's okay.
Ben kind of backtracked to, "Oh yeah, no, I love you, but I love Shopside." He's looking around the room and seeing that. Hold on, everybody here is from a different channel. Oh yeah, I love yours, and I love yours, and I love yours, and I love yours too. It's just funny, man. That's what's great about this community, though. Everybody does support everybody, right? So that's fantastic. So
Pretty close, yeah.
But Bobby, coming back
Yep.
to Spurs, right? Your feelings on top 4? Will we get it?
You know what? It's funny how this has become so important recently, but 2 months ago, this wasn't even a conversation for any of us to be had. I thought it's weird because we've gotten within touching range, and it seems like now that we've got our fingers just kind of on the outside, that we have to grab it, and if we don't, it's a failure. Well, again, if 2 months ago we were thinking that we're going to finish in an international European, continental, intertoto, whatever the hell competition that thing is, And now we're, griping, top four. I'd like to see it get it. Is it going to be the be all and end all of the season if we don't get it? I don't think so, because if this club can finish, if this team can finish in the top 6, and there you go, Ben. If this team could finish in top 6, as far as I'm concerned, that's an accomplishment considering where we were from when Conte came in the first place. I think it's because we've had such good displays and then questionable displays that it's kind of more. We want it more because we've had good displays and we've had these big wins and everything like that. But then when we lose to Brighton and draw Brentford, it's like, oh no, the world is ended. Everything's collapsed around us. So I honestly think if top 6 is an accomplishment, I want top 4. I want top 4. The money that comes in, the pedigree that comes in, the players that want to come in with it, kind of thing. Of course, there's everything points that you want top 4 to bring in the best players. But I personally, for me, I'm not going to write this like 3 months ago, I wrote this season off saying, F it, wherever we finish. Let's just rebuild in the summer or build. Forget rebuild. We need to build. And, let's just start from there and go from there. Good morning, Catman. And sorry, Bob had a question up there. I didn't get a chance to read it.
Yeah. Should us finishing 4th or 5th have any relevance on how much we spend in the summer?
No.
Should it?
It shouldn't, but it will.
It shouldn't. That's what we were discussing. That's part of what we were talking about. It really, when we say crunch time for Levy, it's also that, right? Forget it, Mr. Levy. You cannot rely on the fact that Conte has worked miracles to then change your stance. Before he came in, or when he first came in, it was a case of the summer coming, you have to spend. Forget where we finish, forget what position we get, you have to spend. There is nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
We get top 4, you spend, and you can spend, you know that the pain of opening the club's wallet will be somewhat mitigated by the income from the thing. But if we don't get top 4, you're still opening that wallet to the same extent that you would have had we got top 4 as well. Yeah?
I don't think opening the wallets essentially been our problem, Rez, because if we look back, we have our record signing with Ndombele that's only a couple of years ago and everything. The money we've spent, it's just not spending wisely.
I'm glad
if any of us worked in the business and we had such poor expenditures, we'd be fired.
I'm glad you raised that, actually, Bobby, because a lot of people do say that. They turn around and say, no, we have spent. Actually,
but no problem.
What we have is that we have done that tax and spend thing. We didn't speculate to accumulate. We accumulated and then pissed it away. And that's poor work, right? What you need to do is, if you have genuine ambition for something, or if he has genuine ambition for the club, he has to take a risk. He is risk averse, and that's a big problem. Now, I believe that there is a bit too much risk in football generally. A lot of clubs will act really, really foolishly and put themselves in serious problems. Everton, again, we come back to, that's a good example. But at the same time, there are clubs out there that do it very, very well. And ironically, they are actually the opposite of Everton is in their own city. It's Liverpool. Look at the way they do things. They're careful, but they take those risks. They just mitigate the risks in a different way to us. We mitigate risk by only spending what we have. They mitigate their risk by making sure that when they spend what they don't have, they're minimizing the possibility of it going wrong by spending elsewhere on scouting, on analysis, on a decent director of football, on a good
these things are required in football?
Yeah, no, it's surprising.
You better write this list up and send it to good old Daniel there then. Yeah, exactly, we don't need to buy land and properties?
I know, it's shocking. I thought that building cinemas made for good football, but apparently I was wrong.
Don't worry, Bobby. We got it all covered when we sell Winks for 40 million.
80.
Oh, who's
£60 million, €60 million, right?
I think we have to pay them 40 mil to get rid of him, don't we?
Well, hold on. Bob Sir is asking a sensible question now.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, yes, it does. It really does. It does lower the risk, because you've got someone who is.
This is how I'm doing this on my phone.
Yeah, there is a reduction in risk, absolutely, but it's not. The sort of difference in risk is one factor. It's not the only thing. It can still go wrong. It can still blow up in our faces.
Yeah, but Rez, we've been buying players. I mean, our spending has been really being misspent, right, for the past 3 or 4 years. Buying the players in, bringing the players that are not suitable, and of course, while we are changing managers all the time, we're not buying players that suit the managers, right? So at the moment now, even everybody's saying Conte is here only for 18 months. All right, this contract runs out in 18 months. That brings him to end of next season. Correct. Why doesn't our fan base at least have the confidence, right, to say that if Conte can produce something at Spurs, right, he might extend the contract another 3 or 4 years.
Guys, I can't hear Eugene. Who's got the background noise?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can
No,
hear
you're very echoey. Bob, you've done something and it's making it echo.
Yeah.
Bear with me.
Like R2D2's in the background.
Let me mute Bobby. Yeah, it's Bobby. You got something in the background there, mate. Just stay on mute until you want to talk.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Bobby.
I prefer you this way.
And you can see why he ain't changed the bed sheets because he's been on a settee for 12 years.
But guys, what I'm saying is that our spending, right, has been misspent. For the past 4 years. What we've been doing, right? We have not been spending properly. We've been putting in money, £250 million down the drain, with no results, right? And there goes Bobby. and in the end of the day, right, somebody has been responsible for all this misspending of the money. And you're talking £250 million being misspent, and we haven't even gone into the in-depth of it. How was it misspent, right? And of course, a lot of the money being spent is right. It includes not only the transfer funds and all that, it includes the wages and everything that goes with it. Correct? So in the day, okay, there's still an echo from you.
Just Bobby, stay on mute until you want to speak, and then that will resolve the issue. Basically, when you want to talk,
I don't know when to stop speaking, Red. So I never know when I should.
So we'll do this: unmute, start talking, and then when we're had enough, we'll mute you.
So you're gonna do it my wife just mute me from the beginning. Yeah. You know what? You guys carry on. I'm gonna start getting lunch ready for the boys, anyways. We really just want to pop in for 5 minutes and say happy birthday to Rez in person. Thanks for having me on again, Eugene. Always open the door for me.
When is the next show, Bobby K? When are the kids' next show?
The kids' next show, believe it or not, is actually tomorrow. It'll post at 8 a.m. Eastern time, our time, 1 p.m. GMT. So what's that? 8 p.m. for you guys? You're exactly 12 hours from us?
Yep.
It's
exactly
11:13 in the morning right now here. So you're 11:13 in the evening?
Yep.
Yeah, so 8 p.m. tomorrow night for you, and that's just something different from their regular post-game and pre-game show. They did a little something with Jack Kanicki there for the Stats Man. So they just wanted to get a little something different there, and then they'll be back on Saturday with their pre-game for the Liverpool game, and Sunday with the post-game show. So who's coming on to that? I just don't know right now, but we've got some. Ian's got his hand up. All right, so Ian.
I was just scratching my what?
Yeah, put your hand up, and the kids saw it. Okay, it's all about the kids. Like I said, I know you're enjoying your holiday and your retirement. So if it's easier for you, we'll just come to the villa in Spain and we'll do it. All right. That we're doing.
We'll all go over to Spain and Ian's villa there. Just
and do the live shoot from there.
All of us.
Great pressure,
yeah. This 2-bedroom apartment suddenly become a villa, but it's fine by me.
Yeah. Well, when you got 18 people staying there, 2-bedroom, oh my goodness, we could 34 people in there, no problem. We'll show you how it's done.
Okay.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, Bobby, take care.
Cheers, Bobby.
Catch you later, bruv.
Speak to you later.
Appreciate it, guys. Always a
Bye-bye.
pleasure. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
And of course, what Scott M says, right? We have spent, we haven't spent enough,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We haven't spent well. We haven't spent
Yeah.
when we needed, and our
Correct.
spending overall has been terrible. Yep, that's so
And
correct,
on that
right?
spending well part, we've not spent. It's also not spent well on the sort of individual, deals we've made. Absolutely right, but it's the overall manner is also flawed, in that it's let's make some money. It's that war chest thinking that we still see. Right. So if we get up this war chest, then we can go and get all these players. And that's actually the wrong way of doing it, but it's the way that Levy's been doing it. It's always projections, right? In big finance. Big deals like that are never done. Nobody has a bank account with 120 million, 160, 300 million, however much in there. Man City don't have that. Newcastle don't have that. What they do is financial deals that are ridiculously complicated, run and organized by people who have, specific qualifications. And you've seen the fucking contracts. They're like that thick. That's bigger than some of the legislation that you see governments come up with for new bills and new laws. It's so completely opposite to what we might believe, but Levy seems to want to do that. It's like, right, I'm going to build up some money and then I'll go and buy Ndombele, rather than I'm going to buy Ndombele, let's say, in the hope that later down the line I'll get a bit of money back from it. He's got it the opposite way around.
I think as for the sorry, and I'll just
it's fine.
Just thing I was going to say on the risk comparing Conte to Poch, I'd say there's an argument for saying the other way round. If our club had been run properly all along, we would have had a successful, very productive youth policy. These youth team players would have been coming through on a regular basis, exactly the sort of players Pochettino loves to work with.
Yeah.
We simply didn't have that. We were having to buy in players constantly. So the risk would have been a lot less if we were doing that.
Yeah.
Whereas compared to Conte's buy-in players, but either way you look at it, it's down to Lee. The tools were not put in place for any manager we've had.
Yeah. What I was going to say there.
Just to interrupt you, Ian. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. It's not my fault. There's other people with big mouths on this show as well.
And I've been quiet.
Quite down here.
Yeah, absolutely. Fabrizio Romano. I'm going home. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. I say I'm going to lie. I was going to lie in the sun, but it's clouding over. It's going to rain tomorrow. No, what I was going to say. Fabrizio Romano. If you don't follow the Spurs Express on Twitter, you should, because there's all kinds of interesting stuff comes from that. Fabrizio Romano has said that the club, we'll see, proof will be in the pudding, is no longer looking at this young model player that they can develop, but is going to spend this transfer window buying established players. So I think that the lesson, by the sounds of it, has been learned, and I think that Paratici and Conte will obviously talk to each other, and I'm sure there's talk about, we'll have meetings in the summer. I just don't believe they're not having regular conversations.
Of course.
And a lot of this grandstanding is, Conte playing his PR role for the cameras. Well, if Levy doesn't back me, I'll walk. I could think he quite fancies this, and I'm not entirely persuaded by the Paris Saint-Germain rumours. I think that might be something that Conte's people have put about just to make sure that Levy does give him the money. But I think if what I'm reading is right, Fabrizio Romano tends to be a pretty good source. That if that is right, and we are going to be buying established players ready to come into the first team and ready to deliver from the first game of the season, rather than being 3-year projects. This is not Liverpool in the 1960s and 70s, 2 years in the reserves before we'll even look at you. But that's on the basis of we've already got success. We need to buy players for success, and then we can look at buying in players. as development players for the future. We need to buy now. We need to buy the right players now.
I totally agree with you there, Ian. I mean, at the end of the day, the only problem we've got is when you're buying abroad, you can never guarantee they're going to come in and hit the ground running. You know, we've done brilliant. We've done so
players as well, Alan.
Yeah,
it's not just buying foreign; it's English players too. You never know.
Yeah, I know, but what I mean is, I think it helps if they know the league a bit better, if you know what I mean.
But we said that you could say that about Matt Doherty, but look how his first 2 years turned out. You know what I mean?
But he didn't really play right wing back though. In that first.
But again,
2 years.
that's the thing. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah. But I mean,
but guys, to tell the truth, right? If we do go back to this model that Conte wants, right, to bring in players which are ready to play, it doesn't matter where they come from because they are ready to play, right? Yeah. And to see what kind of levels that Conte can squeeze out of them, right? It's better than the model that we used to have last time, right? Where we buy them, at the age of 21 to 23 for about 10, 15 million pounds and hoping the value goes up in 2 or 3 years' time. So we can sell them and make a profit. And then we will hopefully get that profit to be pumped back into more players, right? It's just a bad cycle of players going round and round and round. But now I think because after being pushed, right, to buy players like Lo Celso and Ndombele, right, at such high prices, but them turning out as failures, right? I think he has to recognize that the plan that he has, right, isn't working, right? And the worst part is, right, like what we've been talking earlier, when we lost to Manchester United and when he appointed Conte, he pushed his own back against the wall. He has got nowhere to turn now, right?
Correct.
Because for the past 1 year, right, I mean, I've been on YouTube for more or less a year or so, right? I think I just started the channel about a year. I'm going to be a year soon, like self-site, right? We've been saying this, right? We've been spending wrongly. Our culture at the club is wrong, right? Yeah. The football side has been neglected. But now, when Conte came in, remember what happened, right? You don't buy players at that price and loan them out. Remember in January? He said that when he went on his outburst, right? That's what fears me the most now. Because after the Burnley game, right? After his psychotic episode that he had, right?
It wasn't a psychotic episode. Come on.
It was. Yeah,
Come on. No, it wasn't. It was just a man who was angry. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Man who was angry, right? And he aimed it at the ball, right?
Yeah.
But that episode that he had actually, sent a message to Levy, right? And from there, I think Levy must have come down on him and said, okay, don't go on that kind of rants again, right? And don't be like this. And most probably we will give you what you want. But all the news that's coming out now is positive for us fans that we're hearing, right? We are going to get players who are ready-made, who are blah, 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 this and that. Like what you said is very true. When summertime comes, right? Like what Ian says, by the 1st of July, if Conte doesn't get what he wants, there's a 99% chance he'll walk.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what he'll do.
99% chance he'll walk, right?
Definitely.
And of course, Bobby has a question to Ian, right? How much do you personally believe Conte will be back this summer? And how will your stance change on Linek, mate?
Yeah, but Bobby, I know people like you. You know, you drift in and out of the show. I dealt with this a little bit earlier. I do think it's absolutely critical now that Levy does back him. How much will he back him? I think some of it will depend on Champions League. I think the economics will determine that how much money there is to spend. But what I've said is I think that we do need a massive rebuild, and we need a massive rebuild that can be done in 1 stroke 2 windows. I don't think this is a case now of buying a couple of players now and then a couple of players in January. And I've always said that I didn't think that January would have been the time that we were going to do much business. I think I've been consistent on that. Generally, there isn't the quite kind of quality and value in the market in January. And I think what we got in January has been absolutely and utterly superb. And I think those deals will be made permanent, as will Romero's, and that will take some of the transfer budget away. I think a lot will depend upon being able to move players out the door. And what I'm really anticipating is a good number of players that are peripheral now to what we're doing. Ndombele, Lo Celso, possibly even in Gil, and I think I'm not sure about people talking earlier about the right kind of player for the Premier League. Probably Bergwijn, if for nothing else, he needs football. Winks has got to go. Alas, I'd like him to have stayed, but Winks has got to go. Moura's got to go. He's going to let probably Rodon go, maybe Sanchez. So I think there's a fair amount of money that's going to be coming in.
But Ian, the amount of players that you're talking about, right? You're talking like half the squad has to go.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking if we're going to get where we want,
right? Do you think Levy's going to bring in 11 players to give Conte?
Well, I don't know how many I've mentioned. I might have mentioned 7 or 8, and I think that's what we need. We need 7 or 8 higher quality players if we're going to talking about seriously backing Conte. That's what we need. I mentioned, I don't know if Ben's still on. I haven't seen him on the chat for a while. I had this debate with Ben. I think it was on TTG when I said that Celtic. If you look at Celtic's starting 11, we talked about international players, and I didn't get a chance to make this point. When Celtic were the first British club to win the European Cup, as was. They had every one of their players was born within a 30-mile radius of Celtic Park. I mean, that is a quite remarkable statistic and will never be done again. But the manager there that's coming after Rangers won the league last year, I can never pronounce it. Goglua's Greek origin of Australian of Australian background. Brought in his starting 11 yesterday contained something like 7 players that he's brought in himself, and he brought 2 on as substitutes that were also his signings. So he might have even brought 3 on that were his signings. So if you can find the players and the budget's made available, yes, you can. And I think that's what we need to do. People have talked about, we've all talked about that we've spent a lot of money at the wrong time on the wrong players that hasn't been good value. And part of that has been down to the recruitment. I don't blame Levy for this entirely. I think he's had people that have advised him, like Hitchin, etc., that have bought players that simply haven't been good enough. And what I'm hoping now is with Paratici and Conte, that between them, they know the English game, they know the kind of player that will and will not succeed in the English league, and that they will go out and they will get rid of some of the players that are peripheral to where we're going and bring in new players. And I'm hoping that there will be 7, maybe 8 high quality additions to the squad. And that will be my idea of Conte, of Levy backing Conte. Will it change my stance? That's the second part of your question. I won't be as long answering this. I think I said earlier, I think this is very much a last chance saloon for Levy with a lot of supporters, because I don't know if he loses Conte. And again, I don't want to repeat what I said earlier because a number of people would have heard it. But where do we go? Mancini, Potter, Pochettino. For me, that's all a step backwards, varying degrees of steps backwards. So it's really critical he backs this manager and helps take us on to the next level. Bobby, I hope that's answered your question.
Mm-hmm. And I got to answer Bobby's question to me, right? According to Sean, he felt bloated. I think he's got air. That's all. And most probably he's done it already because he had lunch, right? So, okay, I've answered the question for Bobby. Right. But no, Ian, I understand what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Let's come to the actual fact what's going to happen. If he does back Conte and give Conte what he wants, right, we will be very happy because we see that we are moving forward. If he doesn't, right, and Conte walks, right, you were saying, who are we going to get? You know, no other manager can be can replace that kind of caliber that Conte brings, right? But the thing is that, do you think he cares?
Who cares? Levy? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
This is
He
where
cares.
this is where I probably take issue with. I know it's a pity Arthur's on, because I know Arthur was sort of, I listened to Levy, and Levy said, we're all fans, we want to deliver success. And it hasn't been delivered. I keep going back to some of the same facts, and there's going to be a lot of repetition here. I don't think it's in the Levy's financial interest for the club not to succeed, because the majority, so many of the costs now with the stadium, the repayments and what have you, are fixed costs. So the best way of recouping and making profits for him, and I don't care if he makes profits or the club makes profits, is to be successful on the field and fill that stadium week in, week out with 60,000 supporters, including Champions League money and in Champions League revenue. It's not Levy's fault that, and you said it, time and time again, we have a big game and the players don't turn up. With the best will in the world, that's the players. That's not Levy. You can say we've got the wrong players, but I don't think, Levy can be a judge. He can be a judge of a bad player, but I don't think he can be a judge of somebody who has got the heart to really deliver as and when the time comes. We've lost 8 semi-finals in a row. I think one, maybe 2 of them were before Levy's time. 8 FA Cup semi-finals in a row. I mean, it's almost unheard of, because I'm of an age where, we got to the semi-finals of the cup. We went on and win it. We went on and won it every time. I do think he cares. And I don't think the fact that the speed with which he got rid of Nuno after the reaction at the Manchester United game, which I wasn't at, but I know people that were, that said the place had turned toxic. I don't think he'll want to hear we want Levy out all around the stadium. If Conte,
but I know, but that isn't that part of hurting his ego? He doesn't want, like in Asia, you don't want to lose face.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Right.
It's about with Levy. One of his biggest problems is that he is reactive, and when he reacts volatilely, for want of a better phrase, right? So, and he does have an ego that gets pricked. That is definite, because twice he has gone to war with journalists when they've said things that he didn't like, right? Which, chairman, it's a rare thing to do. And don't get me wrong, I'm not justifying anything that the journalist might have said or defending them, but it just demonstrates the character that he has, right? He is reactive. Excuse me. He's reactive rather than proactive. I hate using that word, but he doesn't seem to want to anticipate. He doesn't seem to want to strategize on the football side of things, because it's really not his speciality, right? Ultimately, I always think of Brian Clough, right? Brian Clough had war. What's it called? Had a war of words with what's his face at Derby when he was there. Sam Longston, that's the bunny, right? They had this big war of words, and Brian Clough's attitude towards football chairmen was they write the checks, and that's all that they're there for. And you know what? I think that should really be the way it is. But what Levy wants to do is that he wants to involve himself in something for which he has 0 qualifications. He's never played the game. He's never managed the game. He's never coached the game. He's never done anything relating to football. And yet, because him and his Uncle Joe had 120 million pounds kicking about, he finds himself the chief executive of a football club. How does that qualify him to do anything other than sign checks? And yet he's interventionist.
The trouble is this has always been the problem with Levy, certainly from my perception of him. It's all about maximum return on minimum risk. This is great when you're in business, but football is not a normal business.
No, it isn't.
You do have to speculate to accumulate more than any other. Levy is not compatible with that. He never has been.
No,
that's why it keeps coming back to. We just want the whole structure set up differently with the club.
No, that's why what Simply is true, right? What Simply is true, right? It's going to be difficult to make a lot of money from the sale of the players, as most of them are terrible, right? realistically, right? How much would you get for them?
We
Right?
should do a
It's
job
part
lot
of the
of
same
them
point,
on
isn't it?
eBay. We should do a job lot of them on eBay, right? All the
Yeah.
players we want out, Emerson and Ndombele, Lo Celso, Gill, you put them on Galini, all of them, right? On eBay,
Galini's
£40
not staying
million, one, or best offer, right? I would give them Ndombele away for free.
Yeah.
I would.
Just get him
to
off the
get
wages.
off.
Yeah.
Get the wages off. Do not expect to make any of that £58 million back. Forget it. It's
Unfortunately, it's
gone.
Levy.
That's another big part of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
long are we holding on to these players when they're just not worth anything? Because Levy thinks we can get another 10 million for this one if we hang on to them for another year.
Well, what could we have got for Dele Alli a year ago? I mean, there's a lot of that, right? But what I will say, Rez, much as I understand where you're coming from, and it goes back to one of the points that Bobby made earlier about, in answer to what I was saying about the Champions League reset and what have you, and when we need a reset, why am I relying on the Champions League money?
Yeah.
You've sort of half got what I'm getting at. What I am saying is that if we've got Champions League money, that should enable Levy to release the purse strings even more. To help get him in, Conte get in the players that he wants. And again, it goes back, Rez, to the same thing that you says. I absolutely understand that. But if we can get 30-40 million for Ndombele, who would pay that, 25-30 million pounds for Lo Celso, 20 million, 25 for Winks, that creates the budget. That's where I'm looking for.
Well, the thing is, I think what you're describing is the ideal situation, Ian. Of course, the ideal situation is that we get Champions League and that we can get the money for these players that we want. That is what you would love to have. But I think, and from all I'm delineating, if you like, is the what we should be willing to accept, right, in terms of player sales and position that we end up, and what Levy needs to do. The ideal, as I say, what you say, 100% Champions League, and we get decent money for these players that we don't want, and we use that to fund an even better splurge than we might have already. But I think the default position has to be, we have to splurge regardless. And if that means that we lose money because we give players away, or we lose money, or we don't have as much money coming in because we're in a lower tier European competition, that doesn't excuse a lack of splurge.
Agreed. But with the splurge I'm talking about us spending 200 million this summer.
Of course.
And if we've got Champions League and we can bring in 120 million pounds of player sales, we can spend the 200 million. We might need it all with a couple of free transfers. Because again,
we're not going to get 120 from that.
The price that you're talking about, right?
The minimum we should be spending this summer, the minimum we should be spending this summer, regardless of European Championship, and people are going to laugh because it's like, Levy, really? It has to be 150 million. Minimum.
Yeah, well, we're both on the same page.
Well, it's got to be. 100%. It's got to be. It's got to be the amount that Conte wants to spend.
The thing is that, of course, we need to know what kind of players Conte want, right? That's the first thing.
Of course,
the players that Conte want. That is the most important thing, right? Not to go and buy players that Levy wants.
No, of course.
All these years, what's been happening, right? Levy has not been buying players for the managers, the meeting up to the managers' needs, right? Now the question comes in: will we buy the players that Conte want? Number one. Number two, Ian, you're talking about selling Ndombele for 40 million. What if a club will only come in for 20 million?
Is it frozen on him?
No,
Am I frozen?
No, just you.
I think you're freezing, Ian. Actually,
You
just cut up. You just cut
he's
up.
Frozen. No, he's frozen.
So result.
Ian frozen.
Okay,
he's
back.
Okay, you're back, Ian. Yeah, you're frozen.
I think was it me? I froze.
I think it was.
Yeah.
It was
So I'm thinking everybody's frozen. Oh no, it must be me. I heard you say the 40 million for.
So I'm saying you're saying 40 million for Ndombele. What if nobody wants to buy him for 40 million? Right? Yeah. If somebody's giving him for 20 million, so that brings down the amount of money that the player sales to cover our player purchase.
Right? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
That's why Rest is saying it doesn't matter. We must have that 150 million stand by there, not
But what Ian is saying, no, but Eugene, what Ian is saying is he's in agreement with what I'm saying, is that we should be saying, look, this is the minimum bar. This is whatever the circumstances are, this is what we need to spend, right? Let's say whatever, putting aside what Conte specifically wants. This is the minimum bar. What Ian is looking at is whether or not we can get to this bar here by maximizing sales and being in the Champions League. Okay. But he's still... sorry to speak about you, Ian. Apologies.
No, it's okay. You're good, Rez. You're good.
He's saying this is what we should be spending regardless, which is what I'm saying. What Ian is doing is describing this. What I'm doing is describing this.
Let me give you an example, Eugene, quickly. Paulo Dybala. We know he's worked with Conte. We know he's a player we've courted before. Is there a chance that he'll come to Tottenham Hotspur if Conte's not the manager and we're not playing in the Champions League? And that, I think, is part of my point. And he's a free. Now, granted, we might have to pay 30 million in signing on fees and what have you. And that money, that money comes out of one budget or another. I don't care which one. That's where I'm at. And that's the kind of quality player I want us to be bringing in, to be moving almost 2 jumps, to going from challenging for the top 4 to challenging for trophies, and in a year or 2 challenging for the league, and a year or 2 after that challenging for the Champions League. That's how I see this Conte project.
Levy burnt his bridges, Ian. Yeah?
Say that again.
Levy burnt his bridges with Dybala. I can't see Dybala wanting to walk back in there and expect to be disrespected again.
Okay.
If you go in expecting to sign a contract at 130,000 pound a week, and then get told, no, we're not offering you that now.
Alan, I'm going to come in on that, because I've heard this, and it's just, have you got any evidence that that's true? I mean, other than I've heard it on Twitter, Johnny down the pub said, because I know Levy gets beaten with these sticks, but in the absence of any evidence to that, I mean, as I understood,
there's a reason why
there's a problem with image rights.
No, okay, we come down whether you have evidence or not or whatever, right? But we all know that, right? Nearly every club in Europe, right, doesn't like to deal with him. We all agree on that, right? Because whenever a club sets a value for a player, right, he will go in and he will try to drive the price, and drive the price down and irritate the owners and do this and do that, right? And to tell the truth, the biggest example was this January transfer window. We were silently in the secret, in the background, right, trying to sign Luis Diaz, right? While his price was at this high, Levy pushed it down, and he didn't go in fast enough. Liverpool scooped in and took him away.
It's simply not. That's factually wrong.
No, the reason that the reason that Luis Diaz went to Liverpool in January was because Liverpool had been scouting him for months already. Absolutely. They were going to sign him they wanted to sign him this coming summer.
Yes.
When we went in for Luis Diaz, his agent then went to Liverpool and said, by the way, you can buy my player, but you're going to have to do it now. Otherwise he's going to Spurs.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't lose on Diaz because of Levy this time, but we have lost players, or we have had problems signing players because Levy does do that. He does like to lowball.
Grealish and Fernandes were the examples, as I see it, that are, demonstrably Levy's fault. I don't mind blaming Levy for what is his fault. What I don't like is when he gets blamed for things that I from the knowledge that I have, I don't think are his fault. And Grealish, he just tried to nickel and dime Aston Villa, thinking that they would be so desperate to sell, they would sell him for 6 million instead of 10. New owners came in and said he's going nowhere. And 3 years later, he goes to Man City for 100 million. That's the kind of false economy that Levy drives me fucking bonkers with. Because it's sheer bad business by any criteria.
It's penny wise, pound foolish.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
On the larger picture again, even if you take away this need for, say, looking at 150 million for Champions League football for next season, and we do the same every season, we're saying we need all this money for it every single time. We have wasted so many years now when we could have just been saying, you know what? That's a little bit too far a step for us. If we're gonna either we go for that, or we just go for a very modest thing. Like, and I'm going to point out the obvious example for me is always going to be Sevilla. What they've done in the last few years, they aim for the domestic trophies. They aim for their Europa trophy. They got very successful on that. On top of that, raised their profile and got into the Champions League on the back of it.
Yeah.
Why were we not doing the same instead of just constantly top four? Forget the domestic trophies; they don't matter. Top four. It's just always the same, and that's Levy's. That's the biggest gripe we've got with Levy. We're stuck in this rut because he doesn't go with one direction or another. It's flip-flopping, and the only thing that matters is top four and the easy money, little investment, maximum returns.
But not wanting to take the actual risk for getting there as well. That's the thing. I wouldn't listen. If he wants to be ultra ambitious, fine, great, but put your money where your mouth is. If you don't want to be ambitious or don't want to be that ambitious because of the money, that's also fine. I don't think the fans would be happy, but at least it's an honest stance to take. You say, look, I don't think this club can be a Champions League club or a Champions League regular, but we can be a Europa League regular. We can compete for the domestic trophies, and we've got the resources, and those are the resources that I'm going to put at the club's disposal. That's fine. That's honest. But don't say I want Champions League football with FA Cup money. You know?
Yeah. Yep. That's agreed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, an FA Cup wouldn't everybody just love an FA Cup even?
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, how many
Yeah,
times?
any cup.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think how many times. Yeah, I mean, I've seen us win the FA Cup 3 times at Wembley and lose a final once. You know, it's just
the thing that just burns me is that we are in our 4th longest trophy drought in our history.
Yeah.
If we don't win something next year, it will become the joint 3rd longest, right? Next year, we have to win something if we don't want that trophy drought to become the 3rd longest in our history. And the 2 longest ones had world wars in them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on. You know, I tell a lie.
I hate to tell you, Rez, but Mr. Putin is getting quite angry at Moscow at the moment.
I can't comment.
No, we're not going to comment on that, Ian. We're not going to comment on that. But guys,
this just very quickly as well. It's a conversation I've done on another channel, and Craig Bowler's always talking about. He's a big advocate for top 4 and saying he said memories of the club. He would take the miracle in Amsterdam over a League Cup success every day of the week. And I said the opposite way round, because you can't put Lucas Moura into a trophy cabinet.
You can actually. He's quite small.
That's a great line, Kuva. That's a great line.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. But guys, we're coming up to the 2-hour mark, right?
Yeah.
Before I let you guys go and all that, let's say big up to all the guys.
It would have been an hour and a half if I had to come on, because I just can't come.
Bobby K, Simply Ace, the first time seeing you there. Paul, right? Danny Kiriakou, do, right?
Danny
Kiriakou.
Who do I have? Of course, Cody Mack.
That was better than the happy birthday.
Yeah.
That's We've had practice with Danny Kiriakou. That's the thing.
Yeah. And of course, we have a stake in the house too. Alexander Hilton, right? Who else do we have? Catman Jess, big up. Ben Kaufman, right? Anybody else in miss out? Jamie, Jamie's not free today. And Guguma, big up to Guguma. He's always around, right? Supporting the channel. Yeah, miss anybody else? Of course, Chris from Leicester Till I Die, right? And of course,
Catman Jess. Did you say Catman Jess?
Yep, Catman Jess around. Yep. And of course, we've got Dermot.
Who's Bob Sturtvey?
Bob Sturtvey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim. And who else do we have? Reload, right? Reload 2. Reload's been here. Thanks.
We had Wayne Bonner apparently.
Yeah, Wayne Bonner was here earlier. Yeah, Wayne was here earlier too. Oh, a lot of chats today, right? We're going through, right? Wayne was here earlier. I haven't seen Wayne sometime in the chats, but he's always here supporting me. Big up to Wayne, right? And who else do we have? Of course, we have Statman Stubbs, right? I'll be doing a show with him this Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. He's a Liverpool fan, right? We'll be talking a preview about Liverpool match, right? Live. And of course, don't forget, Sean, have you done your business yet? That's what Bobby's asking, right? Graham,
Flush down the loo.
yeah, big up to Graham, right? And of course, Kuva is here with me too, right? Guys, big up to you guys in the chats. Thanks for your support, right? In your comments, right? And of course, the rest. Anything coming up with now we've got 4 S's on it. 4 S's.
Because I realized that one reason why we might not have people sort of being able to find the channel is because a lot of people they did sing that we sang something. They sang something. It's true. That some people spell shelf side as one word, so shelf side, whereas on the channel name is the shelf and the side are separate, so it's Shelf Side Spurs Show. So I went SSSS, and I thought putting SSS suggested that it was 1 S, I think, because I was omitting the show. So I just thought I'll put all 4 S's and make a point of saying that it is Shelf Side Spurs Show, 4 words, just to sort of make it clear for people, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to let you know, Kim, I lost 2 subscribers after doing that sing along. All right,
that was Kim and Bob.
Kim and Bob. Oh no, they won't do that, right? And Ian,
oh yeah, I was going to say since I co-hosted with Ranjit the other week, then it's a bit of a shelf side takeover on the show today, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, on Spurs Vision is always like that, right? Shelf side is like our takeover kind of thing, right?
Shelf Side Spurs Show has we are essentially a sort of a secret, covert YouTube Spurs streaming community invasion force. If you noticed, we did a mini takeover of We Are Tottenham TV, the Aston Villa game. That was just establishing a beachhead on that channel. We're doing a flanking maneuver on Expressions Oozing Sauce or soon as well. He doesn't know it, but we will. And this is just part of the campaign. And Alan is our leader.
Yeah. And Ian,
the Shelf Side Shit Show. Did you say?
Oi, chatty.
How do we block him?
Eugene, that my agent is now waiting by the phone, ready for bookings. I got to follow up when Rez was talking about Brian Clough and Sam Longston going back to the 1970s, and I'll talk about another person from that era. Was Tommy Docherty, who used to say he'd been in more courts than Bjorn Borg, but a couple of quips from him just to finish. He used to say the perfect board of directors was 3 men, 2 dead, 1 dying. Was it how much? Oh God, yeah. Did I freeze again there?
No, only in terms of the shock of the question.
Oh well, no. About the perfect board of directors. No, and the other one we said was the chairman said he was right behind me. I said I wanted him in front of me where I could see him.
Yeah, it's true.
And and of course, not to forget Guguma, right? Guguma's big up. Guguma, yeah. And Ian, where usually you can find you? Usually on Twitter.
Apart from on Twitter, I might have frozen again, so I might have lost something there. Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Shaggy1712. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Kuva doing a rounds nowadays?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just go where I have a bit of fun, really. So
we are looking to bring Kuva on to Shelfside Spurs Show on Thursday, so it's going to be like epic.
I think they might have actually wrote me into it this time.
There we go.
rather than promising to and then just don't contact me. And
Oh, guys.
I told them, I told them they had to do it eventually. They got to do it.
No, you didn't. You said I don't want that Graham bloke anywhere near my stream. Don't lie while you're on live there, Alan. All right.
But guys,
Good, man.
thanks
We
for
don't
being
really
on.
do
Right?
that.
Yeah. We love you. We're big. We're a family, right?
Yeah.
We love each other, right? Whatever happens, okay. And everybody's welcome. Guys in the chat, right? Guys in the panel, right? Thanks for supporting, right? Spursvasion and especially supporting me, right? But before I go, any last words, guys?
Come on, you Spurs.
I think
Levy,
I think
out. Simple as.
Yeah. Yep. BB up. Are we going to do any score predictions for the Liverpool
No.
match?
Well, as
Too early,
the host,
right?
you need to ask us whether or not we would like to, Eugene.
No, I'm just asking you. Would you
You
like
didn't
to?
even ask me. You didn't even ask me to advertise Tottenham on TV.
We're going to
Tottenham
go to
Post-
Anfield and we are.
Oh
gonna
yeah.
win 4-1. We're going to
Yeah.
go
And
to
I
Anfield.
forgot to ask
and win
L. Where
4-1.
can we find you, L?
You can find me on Twitter at Lighty64, or you can also
Okay.
find me on Tottenham Tea and Toast with me and Bell on a Monday morning at 10
At
o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Al is actually the backup to Kuva being the backup to Al.
That's
Oh,
the
guys,
show.
okay.
I occasionally, when sort of Johnny is busy, I will produce that show, and it's a lot of fun.
Plus Alexander Hilton 17-0 for us to win.
No, it's a great show.
Crazy till 17-0, 12 at the most.
No, do please come and because we're looking to sort of bring some more content onto Shelfside Spurs Show, and Tottenham Tea and Toast is that sort of the other thing that we do Monday mornings. It'd be great if people would come and watch that and like and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, Alan and Barry do a great job when Alan's around, and you know Kuva will often substitute for Alan. Which is
Well,
also
when you say
good.
often, once.
Ever the optimist, Scott.
Well, you know what? I think 33% is fair because they've done 3. Alan's been at 2 and you've been at 1, so 33 counts as often. I think.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, it'd be great if people came along to that. We would love to have you. We're gonna try and do some sort of pre-match, halftime, post-match stuff from the ground for the home games as well. We're looking to sort of bring some more content together. We did a half-time and a post-match for the Leicester game, so go and check that out as well. That'd be wonderful to see. And yeah,
When you guys can do a watch along, Res?
we're not really up for watch-alongs, if we're being honest. I mean, ultimately, when you do a
Oh yeah,
watch-along,
but most of you guys are at the stadium, unless it's a away game, right?
yeah, well, I mean, an away game, you know, we're not We Are Tottenham TV. Ultimately, that's their bailiwick. It's for them to do, and I wouldn't want to do it, even if they didn't. If I'm being honest, it's not something that I think that we could pull off because they've got the facilities and they've got the studios. It's easier for them. For us doing independent streaming, it wouldn't work. But we'll try and do other content, other little bits and pieces. You know, we've got. Is it Graham Roberts, Alan?
Yeah, on the 19th, hopefully, of June.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And I did actually warn Ben when I see him on Sunday. Look over your shoulder. We're coming for you.
Yeah, and of
we're
course,
nearly on 500.
Got to say, Graham Roberts is one of my all-time heroes. It's just superb, like.
Well,
Brilliant.
See if we see how the studio is doing, Coven. We might be able to get you on for that one as well.
Yeah.
No, don't worry about that. I'm just happy listening to the bloke.
All right.
Yep. And of course, Res, you had your prediction 4-1. Spurs.
4-1 Spurs. Yeah.
Yep. Ian,
2-1 Tottenham.
Hoover.
I think an incredibly hard-fought 7-2 win for Spurs.
And Alan,
I'm going for 96-minute Kane winner.
96-minute Kane winner. And
Oh,
for me,
yeah,
it's a very
come on.
simple.
The
I'm
drama
going
in
to
that.
be
Yeah.
this guy here, right? I'm going to say Liverpool's going to win 2-0. That's all.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Last words. Anyone?
Come
And
on,
as
you
always,
Come on, you mother King Spurs.
Levy out.
And of course, don't forget, right? And then always Levy.
You got to flex. You got to flex the fingers.
Oh, yeah, you
now,
got- yeah,
'cause
I've
they need thing, yeah. And you got to go.
Flex.
Yeah.
I can't get
Everyone together. We'll get your fingers ready. Everyone's fingers ready. Ian.
No, I don't do this.
Yeah,
Ian
use
doesn't
your
do it.
bloody fingers.
Remove.
Okay.
And as always, go on,
Fingers
Ian.
out for the
And
lads.
as always,
Always.
Levy.
I'm just off to do a shoot.
Wait. It doesn't do it. All right. And
Let me ask you a quick
it's still
question
live.
before
It's still
you
live.
end
It's still live.
Yeah, we're still live. I know. That's why I did it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for being on. Right.
Are we off
Okay.
air now?
We're,
Yeah.
No, we're
still
still on.
live. Yep, we're still live.